There we go. Thank you. Next slide, please. What I wanted to say was, first off, that what we did this year, we accomplished due to the work of many, many people at Northwoods. In this talk, I'll give you a snapshot of things that I was involved with that we accomplished, but other people helped. I could not have done everything myself. In fact, sometimes all I did was cheer people on to do what they were going to do anyway, which is great. My first thanks is to everyone at Northwoods, because without your working hands, heads, and hearts, this church would not be what it is today, a very vibrant and active church. Next, please. Financing this dream. We could not have done this without money, and Hal was our able treasurer. He was able to obtain a PPP loan, which was forgiven. Amazingly, pledges have pretty much kept up this year, and I want to thank everyone for that. The biggest shortfall for us, I believe, was having the lack of donations in the Sunday plate. I am so pleased that we managed to keep our doors open. I would like to thank everyone also who had inspired ideas for service auction, virtual events, for small groups, Zoom encounters, and maybe at the end of summer, a few carefully social distanced special events will happen in person again. Next. I want to thank our Sea Justice team. Our sanctuary family transitioned to a new program that will work better for them at the beginning of the year. We had a new family come into our church sanctuary, but complications from COVID prevented them from being able to stay. We restarted our Surge Committee, our Racial Justice Book Group started. We organized BLM protests at the North Shore Bridge. These are all things which I am so glad to see happen and have been done by a lot of people in our church. We have programs for reproductive rights, LGBTQ+ rights. We have our Share the Plate effort, voting rights, Face Together, and many other programs that we have kept going. We also helped a local homeless man with temporary shelter needs. Next, please. Jamie built a new church website for us. At the start of this year, our church administrator, Jamie, began to work on a church website with an advisory team. The website was launched at the end of the summer, and that has been wonderful. Great way to organize our material. We also started a new Zoom channel that we have been using to present materials from our Zoom service. I'm sorry, that should say a YouTube channel, not a Zoom channel. That's my bad. I'm sorry. Next, please. Our RE program. Gay Lynn has greatly improved RE planning and communications. She's purchased programming, recruited teachers, and has revitalized the RE program. She works long hours and has been a real plus, and she's one of our 3 gems. And I love this picture, which was shown during the service today also, because it shows our 3 gems at our church: Jamie, Galen, and Reverend Sarah. Galen also started some adult programs, including the 2-hour church group meetings after services on Sunday with a different group every week. Next, please. Time and talent. Our time and talent survey, which is a great way to connect people to programs at our church that they might find to be meaningful, was carried out despite the pandemic. Beth Marshall created, organized, and collected the results to help us find ways to be part of the beloved community that we want to create. Next, please. Development and goals survey. We are partway through our developmental ministry, and we have to assess where we are in terms of achieving all of our goals. We took a survey after 2 of our Zoom services, asking members how they felt about how well we have addressed our goals so far, and then what we can do to meet or improve them over the next few years until the end of our developmental ministry. A lot of volunteers coordinated taking notes and then reducing the results to a savory stew. which you will get a flavor of later in the meeting today. Next, please. Church affairs. Well, this is a big fun one. We have 3 projects going on, most of which are starting or in the planning stages. We want to remove mold from the ceiling of the sanctuary, and we need to make some modifications to air conditioning to make there be, so that there can be less humidity within the air of the building. We are making safety improvements and repairs to the playground equipment, and this is ongoing right now. Connie Newkirk is leading that effort. We will also be working to replace the tile on the floor. I think the developmental ministry has 3 years left to run. Next, please. Church organization. At our board retreat this fall, we discussed how church size affects how churches get things done. Size affects funding, and funding affects resources. In most cases, Northwoods is transitioning from a more family-sized and pastoral church to being a program church. And the difference is who makes decisions and bring things about. In program churches, it comes more from the board. In family-sized and pastoral, more from the people and the minister. We are in several different places depending on the role that we're talking about. And the reason I think this is important is because understanding these things can help us make better use of our resources and deliver a better program. Next, please. We did some heavy reorganization of some of our committees. Building and grounds moved to the model of more of a job jar approach rather than necessarily a regularly meeting committee, with Connie Newkirk taking over as organizer. We had some changes in the Social, Environmental, and Economic Justice Committee, which we also call our C Justice, with David Shantz chairing, Alex Muir taking over the men's group, me, Jerry Hensel working more on LGBT justice, and David taking the lead of Surge and the anti-racism book group. Next, please. Leadership. Now, this is kind of my idea of what leadership is and the kind of leadership I've tried to have. I believe that ideas come from the congregation, and the board's job is to help make them happen. If we waited for the board to create things like our social justice initiatives, our social life events, our art events, they would not happen. Those come from you. The board exists to empower the congregation. So when people ask me who the leadership is of our church, I tend to say the congregation is the leadership. The board is just the way that makes it happen. And I have been very honored to have been able to serve you as president of the board for a year. And I know that the next people that are coming in line are going to do great jobs too. And I'm very excited to see the future. Next slide.
That's the last one.
In fact, this is the end. I was thinking I had a thank you. I'm sorry.
Well, I
thank you very much for listening.